Here's what's happening now. We have evicted the clouds. It is finally feeling like June, but it's going to be feeling like July come this weekend. Paula?
They call themselves the Water Walkers, and they've already walked 50 days. They have 50 more days to go, but we caught up with them at Walpole Island to find out exactly what it is that they're doing.
All right, Paula, and new pressure on the Trump administration and a sneak peek at what former FBI Director James Comey will say tomorrow. Up first, a local woman fights with an attacker in a busy Metro Park while police are calling her a hero.
Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. We start with breaking news. A Livonia doctor and his wife charged in the female mutilation case are set to be released from custody. This afternoon, a federal judge ruled Dr. Farquharson Attar and his wife be freed ahead of an October trial and be placed on house arrest. It comes as the U.S. Attorney's Office says there may be as many as 100 girls that were harmed in the case. Amara McDonald will have a live report from federal court with what's next in the case ahead on Local 4 News at 5. Well, she was jogging alone through a local Metro Park when a man attacked her from behind. It happened in the middle of the afternoon Tuesday at Oakwoods Metro Park in Huron Township. The victim says the man hit her several times in the head and the face before stealing her cell phone and then trying to rape her. The woman fought him off and ran to a nearby home to call 911. Within minutes, park officers found that man nearby with the woman's phone and arrested him. People were back on the trails today.
I feel like that can happen anywhere. So, I mean, it happened here, but it's also happened so many other places, so it's not going to stop me from coming here.
The man is in custody. Police are calling the woman a hero for being able to fight him off and calling for help, which allowed them to catch him. The 3 Michigan State University football players accused of sexual assault have now all been arraigned. Donnie Corley and Josh King were formally charged this morning, while Demetric Vance was arraigned yesterday. Vance and Corley are charged with third-degree criminal sexual conduct. King is charged with first- and third-degree CSC and capturing and distributing the image of an unclothed person. They have been dismissed from the MSU football program. The 3 are accused of sexually assaulting a woman at an apartment on campus back in January. New details at this hour emerging in that double shooting that killed a 17-year-old in Detroit. This was a breaking story yesterday at 4. The victim has been identified as Corey Thomas. Thomas was shot dead during what was supposed to be a sale of Air Jordan shoes between him and 2 others. It's unclear if Thomas was selling or buying. However, police said a 19-year-old man is in custody in connection to the shooting. Another person was shot in the arm. He is in stable condition. Moving to the first forecast. The weather is pretty close to perfect right now. No complaints out there, Ben.
It really is, Karen. Almost full sunshine. Just have enough clouds to dot the sky out there, make it interesting. And those temperatures have come up just a little bit too. 74 in Metro, generally in the 70s. We do have a wind that's out of the north-northeast, so giving us a little bit of a cool breeze. Monroe, one of the cooler spots right now, it's 66, closer to those east side lakes. Tonight, bright and comfortable as we slide into the evening hours, and it is going to be staying at least mostly clear and possibly crystal clear tonight. We'll talk about what impact that's going to have on our commute tomorrow morning, and of course the toasty weekend forecast. Now it's a question of how many 90-degree days we have, and we'll check that out in a few minutes. Karen?
Former FBI Director James Comey will testify tomorrow before Congress, and we're already getting a look at his opening statements. He will testify he felt pressured to end the Michael Flynn Russia investigation. We'll have more on that in a minute. Today, the president tweeted his choice to succeed Comey, this man, Christopher Wray. Wray is an attorney with a strong law enforcement background. He represented New Jersey Governor Chris Christie during his Bridgegate scandal, and he served in George W. Bush's Justice Department. Wray is getting preliminary support from House Speaker Paul Ryan.
I thought we should have a career person take over the FBI, someone with a deep bench of experience. He certainly seems to fit that bill.
If Comey's appearance tomorrow is the main course, well, the Senate served up I guess you could call it an appetizer today, with testimony from the nation's top intelligence chiefs. Devin Scillian tracking the latest and has a preview of what Comey will say tomorrow. Devin.
Well, Karen, the Senate has released this afternoon the written testimony that Comey is going to present tomorrow, and some of these statements verify a lot of the reporting that's been done on this. He's going to testify tomorrow that the president said, and this is the quote, "I need loyalty. I expect loyalty," and that the president said he hoped Comey would end the investigation into Michael Flynn. Now, today, the current top intelligence officials were on the hot seat. They would not discuss conversations they had had with the president about the Russia probe. Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats did say this.
In my time of service, which is in interacting with the President of the United States or anybody in his administration, I have never been pressured. I have never felt pressure to intervene or interfere in any way and shaping intelligence in a political way.
The top intelligence chiefs were repeatedly pressed for more answers about Russia and the talks they've had with the president about former FBI Director Comey, and that led to this exchange.
I'm not satisfied with "I do not believe it is appropriate" or "I do not feel I should answer." I want to understand a legal basis. You swore that oath to tell us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and today you are refusing to do so. What is the legal basis for your refusal to testify to this committee?
I'm not sure I have a legal basis.
Interesting. So still, obviously, a lot more to come. You can find Comey's entire opening statement. We put that at the homepage of clickondetroit.com. We'll have more coming up here at 5, and Lester Holt will, of course, have a lot more at 6:30 on NBC Nightly News. Karen, till then, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Devin. And you can see James Comey's testimony live right here on Local 4 tomorrow. That starts at 10 a.m. We'll also be streaming his appearance at clickondetroit.com. First at 4, we're also on top of stories making headlines all around the world. We start in Iran, where ISIS is claiming credit for 2 attacks that left 12 people dead and several others injured. Gunmen and suicide bombers attacked the parliament building in Tehran and a shrine to the Ayatollah Khomeini. The attackers were armed with AK-47s and dressed as women. There was a siege for several hours before they were all killed. 5 additional suspects are now in custody. Security is tight around London Bridge as the bridge and surrounding neighborhoods are now fully reopened after this weekend's terror attack. 3 men rammed a van into pedestrians on the bridge and then started stabbing people until they were shot and killed. 7 victims died Saturday. Today, police believe they found the body of an 8th victim when they found a man's body in the Thames River. It has been missing since this weekend, and they're waiting formal identification. Meantime, tourists in Paris did not let an attack on the Notre Dame Cathedral stop them from visiting the landmark today. A man using a hammer attacked a police officer yesterday. He was shot but survived. Many people say it's important to carry on.
The world is a beautiful place. Everyone's friendly. There's a few maniacs out there. That's not going to change the way that we operate.
While tourists lined up to visit Notre Dame, France does remain under a state of emergency after a string of Islamic extremist attacks. Now the kind of story you'll only see here. First at 4, we are going to introduce you to the water walkers and join part of their journey around the Great Lakes. Our Paula Tutman tells us their journey is traditional, spiritual, and it brings a message that all of you need to hear.
We're on the Walpole Island Ferry to take you on an adventure to meet an interesting group of women. They call themselves Earth Mothers. Now, for First Nation natives, from very young ages, they are taught to talk to the water and listen to the water. And now that they are elders, they are walking the water. If you looked up through the St. Clair River, would you be able to see the tears of Myrna Kisnazwe? Or would they simply melt in the swift water beneath her?
Some of us have forgotten what we are, why we came here, and what we are being intended to do on this creation. Oh yes, it is very emotional because we're doing this for creation. We're doing this for Geshem Nado to watch over us, and we're doing it for all people.
Myrna is an Earth Mother, a water walker. Her journey started 50 days ago in Duluth, Minnesota. Every day, she and other First Nation indigenous people walk the shorelines of the Great Lakes and Great Rivers. They stop, they pray, they listen, they hope they walk some more. Today they stopped at an elementary school on Walpole Island.
I've been water walking for almost 20 years.
To tell children of their journey. They ask them, what will you do for the water? What can you do for the water?
Water didn't always run in pipes to your house. We used to have a spring, and all the families would go to that spring and get their water for their family. They were lucky to have a bowl. They were lucky to have a cloth to wash themselves. They were lucky to have anything.
We're doing this not only for ourselves, but all those generations that are coming behind us.
They carry a sacred copper pail and collect water along the way.
Water it needs to interact with each other. We picked water from Duluth. We exchanged it from water in Sault Ste. Marie and water from Lake Huron and the other lakes as well.
They know that humans cannot survive without water. They also know that water can no longer survive without humans. In the First Nation territory of the Walpole Island with the Anishinaabe original people, I'm Paula Tutman, Local 4.
The journey of the water walkers will continue to Windsor. We're putting information on our webpage and the Local 4 Paula Tutman Facebook page if you'd like to learn more. A question for you. Are you worried about the high cost of health care? Still ahead, new research reveals how that problem is affecting American families. And parents charged with murdering their newborn daughter. Prosecutors say they made a controversial decision that's put them behind bars. Up first, Bill Cosby's accuser under cross-examination, how the defense is trying to shake her story.
Coming up all new on Local 4 News at 5 and 6.
Was it all a trick just to get a woman's car? A mom on her way home from work early this morning sees a bloody body in the street, so she stops to try to help, and then this happens.
Pulled out a gun, came around to the car, pulled the car door open, and told me to get out.
She was carjacked, and now tonight she needs that car back, not only to get to work, but also to help her autistic children.
All right, thank you, Sean. First at 4, we're on top of stories making headlines all across America on this Wednesday. Let's start with the Bill Cosby trial, where his chief accuser continues testifying about her alleged sexual assault. No cameras are allowed in the courtroom. We're told Andrea Constand has remained calm as she faces questions from Cosby's attorney. They're going over old phone records, trying to show Constand changed her mind on the date of the alleged assault. Constand testified Tuesday that she shot down Cosby's casual advances twice before she took the pills he offered. Cosby denies any wrongdoing. An Oregon couple is charged with murder today after prosecutors say they failed to get medical help for their newborn daughter. The couple, both in their 20s, are members of the Followers of Christ Church. That church is known for practicing faith healing and rejecting modern medicine. Their daughter was born with breathing problems and they never sought medical care. They are being held today without bond. Rainstorms drenching South Florida, leaving some cars struggling to get through those flooded streets. This video is from West Boca. The potential for flooding is expected to continue through 8 o'clock tonight, and there's more rain in the forecast. So if you happen to be flying to South Florida, you might want to check your flight. There have been many delays and cancellations.
A lot of problems and headaches down there, but they actually need the rain in parts of Florida. There's much of that state's under a drought.
Right? Well, we were talking about that yesterday, how they needed it, but the land is so dry, and then they just got hit and walloped.
Comes that quick, it usually runs off.
Yeah,
but we are not going to be seeing that around here.
No, it looks like we've got a pretty nice stretch ahead if you like warm weather.
That's true, and that's going to take us all the way into the weekend with one minor exception. We'll look at that coming up, but man, these temperatures fantastic out there right now. Low and mid 70s pretty much everywhere, just a little bit cooler down here in Grosse Ile Monroe, which are hanging out in the 60s. But unlike yesterday, we don't have the clouds to contend with. Those pesky spring sprinkles aren't on the map, and compared to yesterday, the biggest gains are really in our north zone. 13, 15 degrees warmer here in Port Huron and Lapeer compared to yesterday, but just about everybody, except those spots that are in the 60s, are seeing warmer temperatures than what we did yesterday at 4 p.m. So as we start looking forward to the weekend, folks are starting to look towards the water. This is one of the storm pins we got from Jeff's mom and dad's cottage up north. You can see they've got the boat out there, and they're going to be ready for what's to come, as we're going to see a little bit of a preview of spring as we head towards the upcoming weekend. Another beach, but this one's in the city down at Campus Martius. Great place to be today. 74. We've got a north-northeast wind. Still a little bit on the breezy side at 17 miles an hour, but relative humidity right now 35%. The air's pretty dry. So tonight, even as we go clear and calm the winds down, we're not looking for any fog because there's just not a whole lot of moisture out there to be working with. Tomorrow we will see almost full sunshine start to finish. Friday, not so much. As this front gets closer to us, we are expecting to see thunderstorms in the afternoon. Does not look like we'll see any widespread severe activity. There is going to be a lot of instability for these storms to work with, so probably some quick downpours and maybe some gusty winds, but that should be just about it. That front not making it all the way through. In fact, it's going to bounce back as a warm front and allow the really hot air to start moving in as we head towards the weekend. So we could hit 90 more than once in the upcoming 7-day forecast. 56 tonight, clear and comfortable. Finally, a normal night for this time in June. And highs tomorrow pretty close to average, too. We'll start in the metro zone. Those numbers mid to upper 70s, 77 here in Dearborn in the city. A little bit cooler in some of the northern suburbs. Clinton Township at 73. Maybe 80 degrees or close to it down towards the state line. But east side lakes are going to keep things cool again. 70 in Luna Pier and Monroe for high temperatures tomorrow. West zone highs anywhere between 75 in Flint and 76 down towards Michigan Avenue. In our north zone, more 70s except near Lake Huron, where we're going to see the 60s. So mid-80s Saturday, we start seeing that humidity creep in on Sunday, and we could have a string of 90-degree days for Sunday through Tuesday of next week, Karen.
All right, thank you, Ben. One of Hollywood's sexiest men is showing he has a good sense of humor. Still ahead, Thor's revenge is going viral. We'll explain in Trending Stories. Up first, heartbreaking choices for many American families. New numbers on health care. In today's Trending Stories, we're getting a look at how concerns about the cost of health care is really affecting many Americans. A new study from Bankrate.com found 1 in 4 American families has decided to not get medical care because they're worried about the cost. Older millennials, those from 27 to 36 years old, were the most likely to go without care. And 56% of Americans polled say they're worried they may not have affordable health insurance in the future. Well, we are building up to Father's Day with another survey. This one focuses on what dads really want for that big day. It's kind of surprising. The website Ebates found 87% of dads say they want some me time to enjoy activities without their kids. The next best thing would be electronics, power tools, or tickets to a sporting event. Well, comic book fans, listen up, and maybe some ladies out there as well. They're all going nuts about a new video from actor Chris Hemsworth. Take a look.
Interesting, there's no Thor toy in here. Look at me, I'm an idiot.
Hemsworth really plays Thor, and his character wasn't in last year's blockbuster Captain America: Civil War, so he got revenge by bringing his magic hammer down on action figures of the characters who were in the movie. He posted the video on Instagram, and as you can imagine, yes, it's going viral.
You're just looking at his guns in that tank, aren't you?
That's, I don't know. As I'm laughing, I'm like, maybe. Possibly. Still ahead, the story behind this X-ray. It's enough to give any pet owner the chills. But we do have a happy ending for you. Coming up next.
It's the hearing the whole town will be talking about as the teenage informant turned drug dealer, once known as White Boy Rick, gets his shot at freedom. And Rick Wershey is only talking to the defenders.
30 years in the cage and I have a chance to get my life back.
He's been behind bars for 29 years.
And I'm not the person that the media made me out to be.
See what Wershey's strategy is to finally be set free. The Defenders tonight at 11.
A pizza to